All right, this is from 22X Report again, and it's a quote from Donald Trump. The fake news media has never been more dishonest or corrupt than it is right now. There's never been a time like this in the American history. Very exciting, but also very sad. Fake news is absolute enemy of the people and our country itself.
Itself. And it's true. The mainstream media pushes propaganda. And what happens is people are starting to realize that they're pushing propaganda. People are turning away from the mainstream media and looking for the truth. They're doing their own research. And the people are waking up. Out in Syria, we see U.S. paratroopers. They've conducted an overnight operation to attack Islamic State sleeper cells in eastern Syria. And it looks like they're removing the rest of the Islamic State. Actually, in the northeastern part of Syria, the Islamic State has now surrendered. And there was one time where they had a vast amount of land in this area, which is east of the Euphrates River. Now they have nothing left. The Islamic State, they are defeated. And yes, the troops are coming home. All these stories that Trump is keeping troops in Syria, they are fake, phony, and false. Let's move on to some of Q's posts here. This is post 3111. Gives us a Fox News link. And it says, Nunes sues Twitter. Some users seek over $250 million, alleging anti-conservative shadow bans smears. Let me read a part of this. California GOP Representative Devin Nunes filed a major lawsuit seeking $250 million in compensatory damages and $350,000 in punitive damages against Twitter and a handful of its users on Monday, accusing the social media site of shadow banning conservatives to secretly hide their posts, systematically censoring opposing viewpoints, and totally ignoring lawful complaints of repeated abusive behavior. Q says, "You were warned, @Jack." Remember that whole experiment that we talked about yesterday where Q went ahead and put the flag comment at the top of Trump's tweet and told Jack Dorsey to remove it, and all of a sudden the shills came running and moved the flag down, and Q was able to move the flag back up to the top, and the same shills went back up to the top? I believe Q was collecting evidence at that point. Q says the strike will be fast. Well, that was fast. I mean, what was it, like 24 hours later? We have a major lawsuit which was filed against Twitter. Do you think Q was gathering evidence this entire time? Do you think the game Q played with @Jack was a game, or was it to gather evidence and to demonstrate how the manipulation works? Q says, let's keep playing. So what will the lawsuit reveal? Well, the origin of the investigation, the timeline of events, how the manipulation was executed. How do you introduce evidence into an investigation legally? Discovery. So now we see Facebook is blocking Trump, director of social media. Here's the tweet from Breaking 911. Facebook blocks Trump's director of social media from making public comments. This is the message this individual received. You're temporarily blocked from making public comments on Facebook. Some of your comments have been reported as spam. To avoid getting blocked again, make sure your posts are in line with the Facebook community standards. This is a mistake. Okay. So Daniel Scavino Jr. wrote, Dear Facebook, amazing. Why are you stopping me from replying to comments followers have left me on my own Facebook page? People have a right to know. Why are you silencing me? Please, LMK, thanks. So Paul Bedard tweeted out the following. Still, Facebook blocks @RealDonaldTrump social media chief. Why are you silencing me? Asked @Scavino45. Trump responds to Paul Bedard's tweet and says, I will be looking into this. Hashtag stop the bias. Let's move on to post 3112. Q gives us a New York Post article. And the title is, Suspected Mob Boss Killer Writes MAGA Forever, QAnon Symbol on His Hand. And here's a short part of the article. There's at least one Don he really likes. The man suspected of gunning down Mafia kingpin Francisco Frankie Boy Cali showed off a hand covered in scrolls related to Trump and the conservative QAnon movement at his first court appearance on Monday. Anthony Camello, 24, who even yawned during the highly anticipated appearance in New Jersey courtroom, held up his left palm and revealed a large, bold Q written in blue ink in the center of his hand. Q says, "So much effort to kill a LARP. Nothing to see here. Q." So the deep state, the mainstream media, they're continually pushing smear tactics against a LARP. Or is Q a LARP? Of course not. Q is asking, why so much effort if it's a conspiracy? We know that the mainstream media will never ask the question to Trump, is Q real? But because they know once the question is asked and answered, it is no longer a conspiracy, and they cannot attack Q in the way they're doing it. They want to get rid of Q. They don't want to say Q is real, so they'll never ask. Post 3113. Q says, what occurred the last time a countdown was presented? This is in brackets, all bold in caps, false flag, FF. So we need to go back to post 2551 and 2540. So on December 5th, 2018, in post 2540, Q says the following: postponed, well played deep state, please allow us to counter. What was postponed? Well, that was the testimony of Huber about the Clinton Foundation. Let's move to post 2553 on December 5th, 2018. What was this? This was Trump at Bush's funeral. So what was supposed to happen on December 5th was John Huber was going to testify in the Clinton Foundation investigation. The deep state used ammunition that day, which was Bush's funeral. We know he died way before December 5th. They waited until they needed the funeral. Q baited the deep state to use their ammunition at this time. Q says, do you believe in coincidences? Never interfere with an enemy. Ammunition is hard to come by. So Q is referring to game theory. This is the theory which involves threats, countdowns, bluffs, disinformation. Q makes them seem credible, so the deep state takes the bait. Q started a countdown. March 19th is T-0, which is happening today. The deep state used a false...
Q used a false flag for this countdown. Interesting. All this espionage, military espionage tactics, very incredible.
They used ammunition. They made a move which Q wanted them to make, and at the wrong time. And we need to understand the Q countdown model. We need to go back to post 2679. Q gave us back then a link to nasa.gov. And this link brought us to the Countdown 101. And it says, pauses in the countdown or holds are built into the countdown to allow the launch team to target a precise launch window and to provide a cushion of time for a certain task and procedures without impacting the overall schedule. For the space shuttle countdown, built-in holds vary in length and always occur at the following times: T-minus 27 hours, T-minus 19 hours, T-minus 11, T-minus 6, T-minus 3, T-minus 20 minutes, and T-minus 9 minutes. Q. So Q used this countdown to make the deep state use ammunition. What was the ammunition they used? The New Zealand shooting, that false flag event. Q wanted them to show their hand.
So the New Zealand shooting is another false flag. I wondered if it was, and now they're saying it is. At least these conservatives are saying it is. Interesting.
And this was a pause to expose them, to allow the enemy to destroy themselves, make mistakes, and make them use ammunition. Who's controlling all this? Patriots. Let's move on to post 3114. Q gives us a Twitter link to Infinite Chan. This is 8chan. And it says, the 8chan administration is responding to law enforcement regarding the recent incident where many websites were used by a criminal so as not to disrupt the ongoing investigation.
So we go on. All this stuff is coming and more. Truth versus the false flag. What's really happening behind the scenes versus the false flags which is pushed in our faces. Again, those that have eyes to see will see, and ears to hear will hear, and those that seek the truth and find it will find it. Just that simple. Our diligence and our spirituality and the truth are all connected.
Q says, who is the real intended target? Q. Well, the New Zealand shooter streamed the shooting live on Facebook. Facebook was not blocked in New Zealand. What was blocked? 8chan and many other sites, many other platforms. Even if they didn't stream the video, they're taking this opportunity to block and shut down all of it. So their main objective is to shut down 8chan, which in turn would shut down Q and Annon's. Think about what they're doing here. Now,
so they tried to block 8chan. They tried to put this thing out with a false shooting in New Zealand, and they tried to shut down 8chan. And he warned us, Q warned us about what was coming concerning 8chan.
Now, the Australian Prime Minister is calling on the G20 nations to crack down on internet and social media giants like Google, Facebook, and Twitter, and other internet sites. And he wants all the G20 nations to meet and to discuss this. They want this at the top of the list. So what are the nations of the G20? Well, they're the 19 largest economies, plus the EU. Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, Germany, France, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, United Kingdom, United States. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has said she wants social media platforms to do more to block content. I wonder what they want blocked. Do you think they're going to block the D-Class? Do you think they're going to block the OIG report? Do you think they're going to be blocking when all of this comes out and the fingers are pointing to Australia, UK, New Zealand, where they're involved in Spygate, spying on an American president? Do you think Q and team just exposed their hand and made them panic and made them use ammunition? Absolutely. But you need to remember something very important. Just because they block it doesn't mean it's blocked. Many people are using VPNs. What does that allow you to do? Well, if you use a VPN service, you're actually using an IP address someplace else. So if you're in, let's say, New Zealand, and you're using a VPN, the VPN address going to 8chan or any of these sites might be in the United States. So that is not blocked. It might be in another country. Why do you think they want all these countries to start blocking?
All right, think about this. Think about this last part of this. We're in a battle of choice and freedom and what's getting out and what is not getting out. And now these top 20 nations want to block a lot of these conservative groups because they're as guilty as the day is long in a lot of these illegal activities. And it's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Wake up. Keep the media free. Keep diligence going. This is going to be life-changing. They want to shut down all the free stuff and the conservative stuff so the truth does not get out. And with diligence, it will continue to survive and thrive, and there'll be ways around their notorious acts. And this is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Think about the fake news and what they're trying to do in the top 20 nations of the world. Good day.